Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K. I am here with Donovan throwing rocks and hiding his hand, Sadiq. Hello to you on the podcast and to you that are going to be watching on YouTube in the future. For those of you on Facebook, you will not be able to see Donovan because he's, behind the scenes working the bells and whistles. But, if you want to see him, I'll turn the camera and show you his, lovely face. So that's why you can't see him, but you can only see me. As always on this show, it is our goal to promote love, knowledge, and understanding in hopes of making us better Black people. Now, with that being said, as you guys can see, I have a topic. I wanted to kind of keep it light today. I don't know if that topic is light, but I just kind of want to, just do something else. And as you can see, we're going to be talking about Black men and women. Specifically, it says Black men and women. What do we need to do, or what do we need from each other, rather, to build a nation? A nation of Black people that are strong, that are practicing group economics, the whole nine, just loving each other, just doing the right thing by ourselves and each other, that whole thing. Right. Okay, so yesterday, I was rewatching Minister Farrakhan's Savior's Day address. Now, one of the many things he touched upon was the relationship between Black men and Black women not being good. Now, he was talking about how women around the world are starting to rise up. And specifically, he was saying women in Saudi Arabia, how they're not being treated well. They can't, not that they're not being treated well everywhere else, but he was just using that as an example, like they can't drive and, the whole nine. And he says that women are not meant to just, stay in the kitchen. He did add, though, although that would be nice. If women, not that they would just stay in the kitchen, but just, cook. Because, we've heard a lot of men say that, women don't cook anymore and all this other stuff. Now, I'm going to go back to my notes. I said that already. Now, he says it doesn't make any sense, sisters. You got a good man that is willing to get up and go to work. And when he comes home, you don't even cook. You give him something out of Sister Sally's kitchen or from McDonald's. He says cooking is a job. He likened the women in the Nation of Islam to scientists in the kitchen because it takes, to know what to feed your man in order to not kill him, yourself, or the family. Hey, Asada. Hey, Hannah. And so he also says, let's see, where did I go? He also says a man likes to see a woman the way he met her.
It'd be nice.
I know that's why I hope that don't open up a can of worms. Basically, he's saying, a lot of times in relationships, we get older, we gain some weight or whatever the case is, but he acknowledged we want to see them. Hey, Holland, we want to see y'all women as close as possible. Don't be letting yourself go and all of that other stuff. We'll get into that. And so he says that a woman is supposed to be a man's heaven. I think we can all agree with that. Mm-hmm. Now, he went to the quote of Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and said that every no good, now this is going toward the men, every no good woman was more than likely made that way by a no good man. Are you getting ready to disagree?
No.
Okay. So for you guys who are just now coming on, that's Donovan Sadiq. He is my co-host. Okay, so he said, she was made that way by a no good man. He used the example of that, and he asked the women during the Savior's Day address, he asked the women, he said, don't raise your hands, but how many of you all have been molested, had a man do something crazy to you, just even as a child? I think most women, but specifically Black women, can say, yeah, I've had some of this and that go on. And so therefore, the woman is kind of being tainted a little bit by the actions of a no good man. All right. And so moving right along. He also says that women are very familiar with black eyes and their husbands are very familiar with knives and stabbings in the kitchen because of those black eyes. Now, the minister said that all women have a mouth on her. Now, I think that's true to some degree. Sometimes we say a little bit too much. But he says, basically, a man that deals with her in wisdom will make it out alive.
Absolutely.
He also said that a woman is not made to submit to ignorance. A woman will challenge your authority if you're just using authority and not wisdom. Now, He said again that he's never met a dumb woman in his life. Never ever has he come across a dumb woman. Now, he told the story of 62 years ago. So when him and his wife was first married, he said they got into an argument about something. He doesn't remember what it was at this point, but he said he slapped her. And then she slapped him back. And he said that was the last time that, he ever, put his hands on her. He said because he was trying to get her to submit out of ignorance and not using wisdom. He said back then they were taught that I give orders to everybody, including you.
Yeah, it's a dictatorship.
Right, it's a dictatorship. So he says obviously he doesn't feel that way anymore. And so he doesn't do that. Now, let's see. Go on. Okay, so I got a lot of notes, y'all. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, if you beat a woman, you don't need a woman. That's what he was saying to me. And I'm going to get to you guys' comments in just a second. Now, he also said a woman is second only to God. And so he's saying that's how high up she is.
Should be.
And so the fact that she's that close to God, that's how she should be revered. That's how she should be respected. Absolutely. As very close to God. All right. Moving right along. So when I was doing research for this show, not just this show, because Donovan and I have talked about this a number of times on our other show, I came across a lot of attributes for men and women, husbands, wives, mothers, and fathers. And so I'll read some of them. For the woman, it says she's a partner, a helpmeet, better half, mother, manager, accountant, counselor, consultant, confidant, nurse, chef, fashionista, leader, lover, educator, motivator, inspirational, organizer, decorator, creative director, financial advisor, respected enforcer, and a good communicator. And in essence, she's an asset and she is to submit. Okay, wait a second now. Hold on. Now for men, it says he's a spouse, partner, help me, better half, head of the house, breadwinner, provider, protector, mentor, teacher, leader, lover, respected, handy, resourceful, reinforcement, wise, knowledgeable, a good communicator. And he's also an asset and he needs to be worthy of submitting to. So we're not talking about somebody who is just lackluster on both sides. These people have to be doing their part in order for the union to work. Now I'm getting to the end of my notes. Now, as I said before, Donovan and I have discussed this plenty of times. Sometimes we've gotten into some little heated arguments over, I guess you could say the dynamics of men and women and all that kind of stuff. And so today's question, we want to include you guys into the discussion. Now, as I said before, the question is, what do black men and women need from each other in order to build a nation? So I will get to you guys' comments, and then we can get it popping, as the young people would say. And so Holland says, happy Sunday, Asada. And then she is saying the same one to you. Commissioner Baker, what's happening? He says, good show. Hey, Yasmin, thank you so much. I try to switch it up every now and then again.
Is that the Princess Leia look?
No, it's no Princess Leia.
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back.
Princess Leia stole this from us, okay?
Gotcha.
They call this a goddess braid.
Crown. Yeah, crown.
It's a braid.
Okay.
So Holly says, reaction, laugh out loud, and then Asada says, accurate. And Hannah, if you say, we all need to seek first to understand before we want to be understood. Most issues stem from not taking your partner's thoughts and feelings into consideration before acting. And I would agree with that. A lot of times people think that love is supposed to be convenient. And it's not always convenient. Meaning that there might be something you want. Let's just take something as simple as food. You want pizza? I don't want pizza. Now, maybe I can say, well, he really wants pizza. I don't want to eat it. It's not really something I want to do. It's not convenient. And I've had it. Okay, but you know what? For the sake of argument, because I know it's going to make him feel good to have it, let me relent. It doesn't need to be, when I ain't having no pizza again, you're going to have what I say we have it, and, all of that other stuff.
Let me just see for the people on the video. Let's look at a video that kind of relates to what you're talking about. It's a clip from What's Love Got to Do with It? And it relates to what you're saying in the part where he was like, put some stank on it, Annie. Put some stank on it. Let's take a look at that, and we'll be right back.
Now, for you guys that are on Facebook, obviously you won't see the video. That's going to be the finished product. Okay, and so
there it is.
And there it is. All right, and so Asada says, first and foremost, we need each other. Yes, that is a notion that we need to come to terms with. we have gotten so to the point to where we say, well, first of all, and I'm just speaking from a woman's point of view, so women, please don't get mad at me, but a lot of times we get in the habit of saying, I don't need a man. You know, I got my own this and I got my own that. And the fact of the matter is we do need men.
And I got so many degrees.
Yeah, you know, I got all these degrees and, you know, I can make it happen by myself, but we cannot build a nation by ourselves. That's just plain and simple. We've seen where that's gotten us so far. It's not very good. And so, Errol, what's happening? I have not seen you on Facebook in a minute. You said common goals. Yes. And that's something that people actually need to come to terms with before you get into a union. You know, have a discussion because, you know, me and Donovan talk about it a lot. It's part of the courting process. Okay, what are you trying to do in life? Okay, great. Well, I'm trying to do this. What are your goals? Well, you know, I'm not saying it got to be these big, audacious goals, but we got to, like you said, Earl, we have to be on the same page. We got to have the same common goals. It's just probably not going to work or be very difficult to get it to work. Hey, Athena, you said we need to learn to love ourselves first. Absolutely. Without knowledge of self and proper love for self, I or anyone else can't love someone else properly. You'll try, but at the end of the day, it'll fail because you don't even know who you are or have enough love and respect for yourself. And then when you try to love someone else before you love yourself, you end up doing things you wouldn't ordinarily do because you don't have any personal, standards or expectations. Mm-hmm. You just kind of go along with the flow and, do things you probably wouldn't ordinarily do. And so, Benny, what's happening? You say, realize that love is something you build and not something you find. We are all looking for something versus creating strong foundation to build on and also be more willing to put in work. Yes, a lot of relationships are not lasting because of all the things that you guys said. First of all, there's no common goals. We don't love ourselves first. And we're not willing to work on stuff. Times get rough and it's like, you know what?
I'm out.
I'm out because you're getting on my nerves. Mm-hmm. You did this. And I'm not saying, stuff that's egregious, like infidelity and all that other stuff. And hell, if that's something y'all got, y'all cool with in your relationship, great. It ain't cool for me, but some people, they want to do that, but you got to put the work in for it to work.
And for the ladies, if you notice that your man starts acting up around when the rent is due, that's a clear sign that you're having an issue.
Really?
What we're talking about.
Wow. Yeah, that's
you
not
know what I'm talking about.
That's not good. Well, baby, what happened was.
No. I mean, he gets in an argument. He goes to his mama's house until the rent's paid. Then he comes back.
Oh, no. He wouldn't be coming back.
Right. A lot of girls get in that situation. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It seems like he acts up just when the rent is there.
That's not a man. That's none of the things that I described earlier on. And Travis, what's happening? He said, it is likely that a child who did not have a positive parental figure will have a loving relationship you said, is it likely that a child who did not have a positive parental figure will have a loving relationship as an adult? I'm going to say no, because I'm going to say a strong no, not a definite no. I just know from experience that I watched my mom and dad. They weren't perfect. They had their issues. But I watched my mom and dad do their union, I guess, perform right to a certain degree. My mom was old school, so was my father. My father was like, listen, woman. No, he didn't say that to her. I'm the provider. I'm going to protect you guys. You stay home, be a homemaker and raise my babies, teach them something. And, she was cool with that. My mom had a nursing degree, but she decided to stay home with us in order to raise us. And so, I think you need to see that, especially in your own home. You need to see it working. I don't know if right is the right word, but you just need to see it working to some degree. And Hannah, if you say, we aren't each other's property, the notion of ownership causes a lot of stress, violence, and jealousy. You know what? You got that right. Because a lot of times people, and I'll just throw this on the men. Okay. Because, there's women who do it too. But back in the day, there's some states to where it told men that your women were your property. And that meant if you got out of line, I could backhand you, beat you, whatever got out of line is. But,
and that was predominantly in the South.
Yeah, in the South. I think Louisiana had that on the books that, women were considered property. And let me know if I'm freezing up a little bit. But yeah, so you're right. We don't have ownership of each other.
Can I give a quick question out there? Maybe somebody that's listening will have a good answer for this. When you get married and you take your vows, for the minute that you put that ring on each other, isn't that another way of saying I'm only going to be with you and you're only going to be with me? So wouldn't that be a form of ownership? I mean, a form of it, not like an excessive thing, but you're saying basically I'm only going to have relations with you and you're going to have relations with me. Wouldn't that be the same thing?
So to me, hey Al, so to me the question, I think we need to make the difference. And man, see, and you guys tell me if I'm off. Is there a difference between you belong to me and I own you? Because I think, to your point, if we are taking vows, we belong to each other.
Okay.
I think when, to Hannah's point, if we have the attitude that I own you, that means, to me, it's like you own a puppet. You do what I say do, when I say do it. I have autonomy over you. You do not belong to yourself.
Well, even in my situation, wouldn't that be the same? Like if I'm leaving, me and you are married, and I'm leaving, I have to tell you I'll be back at 10. I'm going here.
Yes.
Isn't it the same thing?
Well, you're doing that because that's out of respect. But in essence, and I'm not trying to sound wayward, but I'm a grown woman. Sure. I tell you where I'm going out of respect, not out of fear. Okay. Not because, oh my God, if I don't tell him where I'm going, he might do something to me because, is it my duty? Yeah, I would say it's my duty, but it should be done for the right reasons, not because I fear you, because I respect you. And I want you to, return the favor to me, right? And so Al, he says, and the Oscars awards for the new Princess Leia.
See, what did I tell you? What did I tell you?
This is not Princess Leia's hairdo.
What I said, Al. That's a Princess Leia Empire Strikes Back.
This is somebody in Africa's hairdo, okay? Princess Leia stole it from us. Hey, Earl, what's happening? He says diplomatic attitudes and the ability to talk openly without feeling the need to be the reason we are doing what we're doing. There's too much of we need this, we need that, then we argue about that. No, absolutely. I mean, it's a relationship is, if it's two people, it's between two people. You are supposed to, as someone said, come to a common ground, be able to compromise, if you will. Be, not just what I want. I don't know if I addressed that right, Earl. And so Benny says, now, as for building a nation, we have to raise a particular mentality in our children where our progress as a nation is non-negotiable. It's a simple idea. At the same time, we complicate the task. And yes, my sister, she's a school teacher and she teaches, I think, 5th grade or something like that. But she says, just looking at their parents, she says, I hate to be negative, but she says, they're a lost cause. Wow. They're a lost cause. She says, if we're going to make a difference, it has to be with the children. We have to, as you said, Benny, raising them a particular mentality of this is the goal that we as Black people are striving for. And in order to do that, you have to get along with, the Black woman, or in their case, the Black girl and the Black boy. We need each other in order to do that. But unfortunately, again, to your point, Benny, when they are at home and they see their parents not doing that, that's what they think is the norm. And so Hannafy says, if respect is present, there's no need to assert authority or ownership. No, absolutely. And that's what I was saying. If I respect you, I'm going to tell you, listen, honey, I'm going up the street. I'm going with such and such. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm not just going to, twirl up out the door and not say nothing to you. And then you call me talking about why you want to know. It ain't your business. I'm grown. I'm grown. That's probably not the relationship you want to engage in. And then Al says, in the sweet old school sounds of James Ingram and Patty Austin, you belong to me. You belong to me. That's not John. That's Michael McDonald.
No, yeah, Michael McDonald and Carly Simon.
Yes. Aha. Hey, Gina, what's happening? I have not seen you in a long time. But so, yeah, I mean, you're right, Benny. There's a lot of things that we have to take into account, and it really starts with the children. We have to start speaking that to them, and not even just speaking it to them, but showing them that example from the cradle. This is how it's done. This is how we go toward the goal of nation building. There's no other way around that.
Okay, let's say you're a teacher and you're teaching that to my child, and I don't want that being taught to my child.
Then again,
now I'm coming to school to whip your ass.
What do you mean as far as a teacher? No, I'm not talking about teachers. I'm talking about, I guess it should have been clear, parents.
But if the parents are lost cause, how do the kids?
Well, honestly, when you send your kid to school, the teacher's job is just to educate them academically. It's not, sure, it'd be nice if teachers were to show them some other stuff.
Sure, but what I'm saying is if the parents are a lost cause, how can the kids have a chance? Because if the parents are already lost, the kids are lost.
Well, there's a lot of people, and I said an absolute no, but there's a lot of people who will say my mom and dad were effed up. They were on drugs, they were doing this and they were doing that. But Miss Hattie up the street, my teacher such and such, or the pastor at the church, they took me on and they mentored me, and that's how I learned to be A, B, C, and D. So it's not impossible, but it should come from the home that you learn, how to get along with each other. Because we need each other. At the end of the day, and I can't remember who it was that said that, but we just been taught, and I think it was Asada, and we've been taught that we don't need each other, but we do. The fact is we need each other. And then, of course, if we take it back into history, Black men and women, we were doing pretty good until, feminism came along and told us, well, you don't need him. Because white women were like, right now, we don't need our man. We need y'all to come over here and not need your man together and help us. And so, of course, we know all the social things that took place when Black men and women stopped getting along for whatever reason.
And the sad thing is we went to the NAACP this week and...
Watch your mouth.
No, the organization is being led by a bunch of women. Where are the men? So we do need more man participation in these organizations.
Right, and I don't see you guys' comments. That's why we're just speaking. But as Donovan was saying, we went to an NAACP event because we wanted to see a speaker. And to Donovan's point, he kept saying this to me. He says, where are all the men? Now, in fairness, there were some men there, but the organization was primarily headed up by women. All of the I guess that figureheads were women.
The leadership positions were women.
Leadership were women. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but, and as Farrakhan said earlier, that women are starting to rise up, but is that particularly our role as women to be the sole leader?
Right.
Before it used to be the men. And then, women, now I want to say we followed, but, we were at least, I guess, beside them but it wasn't our job to take on a lot of the things that were going on in the community, in the house and all that other stuff. And Al says, give me the woman, Demetra, with bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair. I got 1 pair right now. And Hannah says, if the kids don't have a positive home, somewhere they have to learn their lifestyle is abnormal. Right, but again, a lot of times it is a teacher or somebody who, and I'll spare this to my sister. I don't see her on here. She doesn't have any biological children of her own, but she has a whole host of children that she has, well, not even mentors, but she's just adopted, not legally, but has taken on her own. She's got...
And I'm going to put a stop to that.
You're going to put a stop to that. She has a lot of grandchildren that she considers her own and all of that, so... She has done that. In a lot of those cases, those children didn't have the best homes. Right. And she saw that and she just stepped up as a teacher / a mama. And these kids are like 30 now and they consider her a mom. And Jeannie says, do you think it's always parents sometimes who you're around too? Well, as far as your parents being influential, well, your parents should be the most influential people in your life. And whether they are good or they're bad or their actions are good or bad, because I don't like to call people or parents especially good or bad, although there are some. I just think people's actions are good or bad. They're going to be influential one way or the other. Now, in a lot of cases, there's kids who say, my mom is doing some bad stuff.
Well, a good example of what happened at Paris right up the street here. The 13 kids that were ramshackled and stuff. Those are bad parents.
Those are bad parents. But so a parent is going to have some sort of influence on the children, whether it's good or whether it's bad. That's why, a lot of times, as you were coming up, you might have heard some parents say, don't do as I say, don't do as I do, do as I say.
Right.
In a perfect world, that would work. But
then at the same time, kids should also decipher, this isn't what I want to do. You know, looking at your parents saying, well, I don't want to make those mistakes. I want to do this.
And a lot of kids do that. Right. Like, I lived a jacked up life, you know, and I don't want to do that. I want to do the opposite. And Floyd, what's happening? He says the women are stepping up because so many brothers have dropped the ball. I'm glad you said it and I didn't.
Sure.
Because that is absolutely right. I was listening to one of Donovan's favorite people on the planet, and that's Shahrazad Ali.
Yes.
And she was saying that women are mad with her about her book, you know, Every Black Man's Guide to the Black Woman. She was saying that women are mad with her, but she says if you guys really stop and think, she says this is an indictment on black men because black men have allowed the state of our race, our people, to get to the way it is by being absent. Dropping the ball, or whatever the case
not
is,
caring.
To some degree. So she says, you know, it ain't just, I'm not, you know, it's not an indictment on the sisters, it's an indictment on the brothers.
Well, I'm going to say at the NAACP meeting, I was talking to a lady before you got there. Dee was late.
I was fashionably late.
She was fashionably late because she was hungry and stuff. But there was a lady, you know, she brought her daughter. And I know she had a son. And I said, well, where's, you know, Chris? And she's like, oh, he's at home. Well, why didn't you bring Chris? Oh, he didn't want to come. Huh?
Well, then again, where was his daddy? Why didn't he? Why wasn't he there as well?
But why did she mandate her daughter be there, but not the son?
Maybe she has no influence over the son, or then again, too, that's a whole host of it.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's just sometimes they say in our community, you know, the son gets away with it.
Yeah, well, there's an old saying in our community: we love the boys, but we teach the girls.
And we raise the girls, yes. And then Benny says, for the idea of possession of spouse, well, in a true union, the two becomes one. Different talents and roles, but some goals, objectives, and understandings. Yeah, I mean, like for instance, I'll take me and Al. I'm a vegan. He's a meat eater. Okay.
When cold.
I don't even know the last time the brother ate some vegetables. Okay. I'm just kidding. He eats some vegetables, I think. But it's not my job to chastise him. Oh, you need to be a vegan. You need to do as I do. Or you're a terrible person. No, I'll even cook the meat for you. I'm just not going to eat it because I realize that makes you who you are. And me doing what I do makes me what I am. Now, if we're doing something that's harmful to one another for the sake of this is what I want to do, well, that's a different story.
Right.
So, and Ali says, Michael Bolton has a song. What do you want to do? The Oscars are on tonight, not the Grammys. And you say Michael Bolton has a song describing the man's role, sole provider. Yes, but then again, we live, y'all. Now listen to this. This is where it gets kind of, I think, in dangerous waters here. Okay. We live in a day and age to where there's a lot of men like, it ain't my job to do that. You need to be working. I need to be working. I'm not taking care of you if you want to do this, that, and the other. We going half.
Yeah, remember I told you on our last show, I had a young troop, and he was like, you know, him and his wife were having problems. They come to me as a counselor because I'm in the military. And I was like, what's the problem? She ain't got half the rent. This is his wife. I'm like, and I looked at him, I was horrified. But that's the mentality.
So what advice did you give them?
No, I didn't give her any advice. I gave him advice. Okay. I said, are you hearing yourself? Are you listening to what you just said? You have a wife and you are dependent on her coming up with half the rent. So either you're a man and you're going to stand up or you're not. You bring home the whole loaf or you can't call yourself a man. But see, he didn't know that because he was raised by his mother.
Well, but you know, I don't know how long ago that was. I think it was like 50 years because you've been out in the military for a long time.
That's been,
you know, and listen, I'm not saying that women should not work because we know we live in a day and age where sometimes two people got to work, but if you do things right, maybe not.
Afro Thunder is working because she wants to.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I can take care of everything else, right?
But there's a lot of men like, hell no. If I'm going to punch a clock, she's going to punch a clock too. She's doing half. I'm doing half. Ain't no free ride around here, baby.
But isn't there a blueprint of the basics of what a man is and the basics of what a woman is?
Yes. Now, I will say this. I don't see any more comments. Oh, yes, I do. Al says, your veganism hasn't rubbed off on me, but my high yellow self rubbed off on you with that sweater. Stop hating on my sweater. I got the speak, and that leads into my next point, okay? I got this sweater from the thrift shop, okay, for just a couple of dollars. Now, with that being said, in order for a man to take care of you as a woman, you have to be that type of woman that is, as you know, some people follow the Bible says, a good steward over the money. My dad says some men bring in a spoonful of money, and then there's some women who shovel it out the back door because she is not economically savvy to say, you know, Farrakhan talks about this too. Okay, my man is out there working so I can stay home, make the house a home, and I don't need to go, you know, buying a new dress every day and, you know, being on a home shopping network. Do people still do that? I don't have TV. Or, you know, hanging out at the mall. I am going to be saving this money so that he don't have to go work a second job. I'm going to maybe learn how to sew. Oh my God. That's going way back. I'm going to learn how to cook. I'm going to make our money stretch. Now that's the type of woman that a man can provide for. As Sharzan Ali said as well, I mean, there's a lot of men who just feel like no matter what I do, I can never do enough for this woman.
Right.
There'll never be enough because there's never enough of more with her, and she's gonna dig me into a grave financially.
And a good example, Lorenzen Wright. What happened with him and his ex-wife?
Yeah, for you guys to follow Donovan's like following the Lorenzen Wright thing with what's her name, Shara Wright.
Shara Wright. Yeah.
Shara Wright. She killed the basketball player for his life insurance money. It's a whole mess.
I mean, she's spent money out of
spent $1 million in 10 months. Yeah. So that's not being a good steward over the money. And then so Robert, he says, I would just want my lady to live out her purpose. Yes. And she is able to do that, providing you're saying that you will stay, you know, provided she stays home. If she's living out her purpose while not driving you into the poorhouse. I mean, there's a lot of men out there who are working 2 and 3 jobs to try to keep the household afloat. But it's like, to me, I'll give you guys a perfect example. I knew of a guy who was going to divorce court, I guess you could say, with his soon-to-be ex-wife. Now, she was asking him for a lot of money, like $18,000 a month. I'm not kidding, $18,000 a month. And on her detailed, itemized expenses of trying to justify why she needed this money, now she's a stay-at-home mom. One of them was $1,200 for eating out expenses. And the judge was like, and I was there, so I'm a witness to this. I might be telling too much now, but the judge, the judge looked at the expense sheet and she says, and this was a woman, a stay-at-home mom needs $1,200 to eat out. She said, that's an oxymoron. How you staying at home? She said, if you're staying at home, aren't you supposed to be cooking and, you know, making sure the kids are eating a well-rounded meal? Why would I give you $1,200 to eat out with? Now, mind you, the man made pretty good money at the time, but it was just, even the judge was like, nah, there's a lot of things I can do, but I can't do that. And so, as the minister said on Savior's Day, that if a man is no damn good for his woman, then he is worthless water. Yes, and he was making that point too, that he was actually talking about sperm. That by itself, it's worthless water. It means nothing. It only means something when it comes in contact with the woman's egg, and then it has purpose. And so he's saying that men need women in order to, and my dad says this a lot, to be a man. Right. Not like, you know, the physical aspects of a man, but just that whole provider, protector, all of that kind of stuff.
You're a father because you're taking care of kids. You're a husband because you're taking care of a woman.
Right, who is taking care of your kids, supposedly.
Exactly. And that's the definition of all that.
Right. Hey, Dominique, he says, how do we make young men who have never seen a male role model in action take on that role? Well, you know what? That is a good question. Now, we got to also take the word never. Because when you say never, you know, it's like he's never seen, and you know what? That's not odd. Maybe he's never seen that. But I don't know, at some point in time, I mean, I guess there are men who have grown, you know, older in their 20s and stuff who maybe had not seen that, and maybe they just learn it. I don't know, reading some books or maybe being around other men.
Well, I'll give you a better example.
Okay, yeah, let a man speak to that. Hey, Shauna.
I don't believe in the modern age, but with all this YouTube and all that, you could say you can never see it. You see it on TV shows. They watch all the things. You had a black president named Barack Obama. Okay. So how did he become president? He didn't do that by stealing and robbing and killing.
So, and Alex says the show is breaking up. Is it still breaking up? And so, to Donovan's point, Barack Obama's a lot of people, especially men, I've heard you're about the second or third men I've heard make that argument in regards to Barack Obama, President Barack Obama, I guess we should say, is that a lot of he showed a lot of black men how it should be done as far as how to carry yourself. I don't care what nobody say about Barack Obama. That brother got one of the smoothest, most debonair, and just bad as walks on the planet.
Yes.
I mean, it's like when the dude walks, he glides, it's smooth. And, we've never seen him sagging or his hair, unkempt.
We've never seen him smoking in camera.
Well, he smokes, but we've never seen it. Right.
Right.
And then most importantly, y'all, if again, Barack Obama has never done anything for black people, he showed black men and women how to love a black woman. A black woman, y'all.
He also showed what black fathers go through when they have daughters.
Oh. Right, but I never saw it. Okay, like for instance, y'all, this is some jacked up stuff. How's my reception doing? Is it good? Okay, you guys have probably seen the video of Trump. Y'all see that video of Trump? I think it was yesterday or the day before, where he gets out of the car, and I guess it's pretty cold where they were. Washington is raining and it's freezing. This dude jumps out of the car and he runs to Air Force One. He runs to Air Force One and he leaves Melania in the car. Melania gets out of the car. She's running. I mean, the dude was already on the plane before she could get out of the car. And she's running behind him.
Trump just cares about Trump. Trump just cares about Trump.
But we never saw Obama do that to Michelle or anyone.
Always had a umbrella, and he carried it.
Did you guys? And then if you guys ever saw the video of Barack when he was walking from the tarmac or where it was to the White House, it was raining, pouring rain,
and he had
his two aides that were with him that were women. He had the umbrella on them, and he was completely getting drenched.
Right.
But so that is one thing we saw Barack do is show black men and women, especially young men, this is how you treat a woman.
And if you want to get to this level, you can't get there robbing and stealing and smoking and churn whatever you're smoking.
Right, but then the other part of that too is, Michelle was an outstanding woman as well. So
his boss, sexual harassment. Me too.
Yeah, right.
Get it, Obama. Get paid.
And then Benny says the actual contrast of a man is a woman. She defines him as does he defines her. No, absolutely. It's, I say this a lot, but one of my favorite little memes that I put up every once in a while that says a man that can't learn from a woman is a fool, and a woman that doesn't have anything to teach him is one as well. And so we mold and shape each other. As you say, we define each other. We're supposed to complement each other. You guys have seen older couples that have been together for years, and they speak at the same time. Sometimes they even look alike. Their mannerisms are alike. All of that because they have just become one. Not saying that they don't have their own existences, but they've become one in how they think and how they move, everything.
Yeah, a lot of young men out there think because I'm a man, I'm in charge. It's more than that.
Right. Well,
it's way more than that.
What's below your belt don't make you in charge.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with it. So a lot of young men think that because I've got a penis, it's like you said, there's just so much more to it. That's like saying because I got some breasts, I get to do A, B, C, and D and get away with it. No, there's more to it than that. And then Alex says, I'm curious, why is the man invest your money called a broker? Why is the man that invests your money called a broker? Because he makes you broke.
Makes you broke and make him rich. And then Benny says, that's what I meant by a true union. Two becomes one. Absolutely. But there's so many people who will never make it to that point because they're too busy trying to be the one in a relationship. I'm on top. You do what I say. Right. To me, like I said, I grew up watching the dynamics of men and women where my father went to work. He owned his own business. My mom stayed at home and she raised us and all of that. But to me, it just makes me cringe when I see women talking loud and crazy and boisterous to men, and it's just, to me, obviously it's bad too to see a man doing it, but I mean, I've seen women say, you don't tell me what to do and be quiet and all of that other stuff. I'm like, wow.
Remember that video you sent me where that big woman was like making that man stay with her?
Oh,
oh man, that was.
Yeah, you can't make nobody stay with you now. If you want to leave, he gonna leave.
She was forcing him to stay.
Yeah.
So.
And then Earl, he says, yeah, y'all definitely have to do a part 2. You know what? We will. Me and Donovan, we chop it up a lot on the other show. And on YouTube, and we get some, some pretty, I see some pretty interesting comments, just wow. We do. Yeah, we've been called everything but the child of God. It's like, wow, we just having a discussion here.
It's rough, but we got to have this discussion.
We have to have this discussion. We got to understand what makes us work and work together. And then Dominique, you say, because the process of negotiation is called brokering. Well, there you have it, Al. See, Dominique, Al is always trying to be a smart ass. That's what he get. Thank you for educating him and us. Thought he was being funny. And then Al, you say, you got to restart the show because it's stopping for real. You guys, is the show stopping? Because Al, maybe it's just your phone. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got that Pac Bell South net thing.
Wow.
I don't know.
And so everybody else is saying it's clear on their end, Al. So maybe you just got to restart your phone.
Restart.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So we talk about this all the time. It's just something like you said, we need to talk about this because true indeed, not everybody has the answers. People like Farrakhan talked about when back in the day, 62 years ago, when he thought he was about to be funky fresh. And, he slapped his wife. He says the last time he did it because she slapped him back. But he said, I had to learn how to be a man. He said, I didn't know how to be that exactly. He said the leadership that I came up under, taught from a very austere point of view in that you as the man, you're the ruler. You're calling the shots. You're over her. And so he said he learned that he needed to be a husband and involved in wisdom. Mm-hmm. Now, what do they say? You get more bees or flies with honey than vinegar. Yeah, you can't. Donovan, I hate to tell you this, but you can't take the Ike Turner point of view in your relationship.
It works for me.
Donovan likes to talk about how he reads from the book of Ike.
Ike. There was a book
called Ike.
Yeah, when Tina came out, there was a counter book named Ike, and he told his side of the story. How many of y'all have heard that book? Not many.
That is his Bible, y'all.
Yes.
Ike is his Bible. So yeah, everybody's saying it's clear on their end. So that is how my ex-husband was. He was very domineering, and it's my way and a highway.
Yeah, and that was old school.
Yeah, it is old school and just it's foolish. Like why treat anybody like that?
Right.
That's that. It's like so barbaric.
Yeah.
I never even talk to my kids because I raised my daughter, my nieces and nephews. I never talk to them like that, although I could get it pretty crunk when I needed to. But I didn't talk to them like that. So it's like, why would you talk to your woman or your man like that? Right. And then you say, I think we both should have relearned what we were taught. Yeah. And, depending how old you were, a lot of times we get in relationships when we're younger and we don't know nothing. And so we take that nothing into a relationship and think we know everything.
Exactly. I have a penis, so this is what I saw my dad do, so I'm going to do it. And
I watched read Ike, and so I think I'm the man and I'm the boss, and because most men who are wise will say, any man who is wise know that the woman is the boss, but a woman worth her weight also knows that she's the boss. Now, I'm not saying she's, you do what I say and all that other stuff. It's how you do it.
How you do it.
It's how you go about it, And then, Charles, you said, oops, there's a motorcycle going on outside. First, I thought it was an earthquake. Y'all was about to see me jump. I was about to be up out of here.
That's my neighbor in his Harley.
Oh, is that what it is? So he's going to drive off in a second in his Harley. So anyway, he says, Ike was trash.
Yes, but he won a Grammy without Tina. How many of y'all know that?
Ike was trash. He wrote his book on being dominant and controlling. Yes. That is not what being a man is all about.
Exactly. But in his defense, and any man that was raised in that era, you can only do what you know. and what you were taught. So
Right.
I'm not making an excuse, but it was a different era.
Okay, let me ask you this, since Donovan, and I swear that motorcycle is going to leave in just a second. Do you need to be taught that it's wrong to beat a woman up?
Well, you know, when you see your parents partying, you know, remember like kids used to have those parties. The kids' party becomes the adult party, stuff like that. You get caught up in that stuff. It was the 70s, so that stuff happens, and you don't know any better because that's all you know.
Right. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I just maybe it's just my understanding. I don't think that's something you need to be taught that is wrong to, pummel a person's face in, especially a woman.
Yeah, no, that's always going to be unacceptable. But if that's, you saw, we all seen it. We're the last generation that saw that old school way of doing things.
Right.
So,
and so, Shauna, you say, yes, we were in our young 20s. I'm not really even for sure why the guy is outside just like on his motorcycle.
He's gonna warm it up.
Oh, he's warming it up, okay. So bear with us, you guys. I hope it's not too loud.
When Al gets his Harley, you got to get your thongs when you ride on the back of it.
He ain't getting no Harley, and I ain't getting no thongs to ride on the back of it, okay? And so Benny says it's not just one answer to this question because there are so many different dynamics and moving parts to it. So much healing and understanding to undergo, but acknowledgement of the issues is definitely a great start. Yes, we have to at least acknowledge it because that's where you start. They say the first step is acknowledging that there is a problem or that there are issues. Just because if you never acknowledge it, then it's just a tug of war. Yes it is, no it's not. Yes it is, no it's not. And so Shawnee says, of course not. You better let me see. Of course not. You know better to put your hands on someone. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the other hand, I guess if you see your daddy or whoever beating up his mama, because a lot of men have said that. Well, I've seen my daddy do it. I've seen my daddy, beat up my mom. It was an everyday thing. Hey, pow, or whatever the case is. So, but again, I think most people can look at something like that and say, well, yeah, that's kind of jacked up.
It is jacked up, knowing what we know now, but that also goes back into human nature. Why is it that kids think that, okay, well, there's a drug dealer, that's somebody I look up to. I know drug dealing could lead to death and all kinds of gang activity, but they do it. Girls now are saying, oh, stripping is fine. That's a great thing to go into. It's something that your environment teaches you that you don't know. And the path of least resistance.
Well, I would say this too, to that point, is that now we both know someone who came from a household of both parents were
very successful.
Yeah, very successful, actually reverends in the church and all of that. And they've gone off to do the total opposite. I'm pretty sure they weren't taught to strip and to do those things that it was good, but they're doing
No, they weren't taught it, but the environment that they are in, their peers and stuff like that, and what these kids are thinking now. When people are saying Cardi B is a role model, that's a problem.
I agree with you on that. And then so Dominique says, could it be that black men and women have lost so much during and after enslavement? Black men in particular needed to find a way possible to assert some type of power, even if it was to the detriment of his own family and woman. Yeah, and then to your point, the other side of that is that during slavery, the woman was taught, you're over him. Mm-hmm. He's been beat down so much by us and everybody else. We put you over him. You tell him what to do. I was actually reading a book. And it was talking about how, if you notice with the old movies, the black and white movies where the women were mammies and then there was like a step and fetch it type of character.
Movies, not
those type of movies, because he was more of a, astute type of man. I don't think he would. But anyway, so you have the mammy and then you have the character like the step and fetch it where he was just a bumbling idiot and but you would see the relationship between him and the mammy, and she's like, oh, shut up, you fool. You're ignorant. You're stupid. Right. Shut up. And so that was purposely done. And so that, too, is learned behavior.
Yeah.
That the woman usurps the authority or just a man in general.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Monique thing where she went to 106, Charlemagne the God, and that part where she said, where, he's that brother that walks the sister into.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, that really made me think about a lot of stuff in regards to that's something I wouldn't do. I mean, you'd have to kill me to put my woman, and then I have to come back and pick her up. That ain't gonna happen. But there are a lot of brothers out there that figure. I mean, human trafficking right now. A lot of the human traffic. I'm not saying it's black folks, but we prey on our own community, and and it's just sad. It's a sad situation.
Right. Al, what do you got to say? He said Sprint called me. I said I can't see your show, and I paid my bill. They said we know, but we have Geico on 3-way, and they want to know when will they receive their money.
Right.
Oh, so they have to get your attention.
Yeah.
Pay your bills, baby. Pay your bills. So yeah, I mean, it's learned behavior from both of us, but that is an excellent point, Dominique. Yeah, I think maybe some, but then again, to that other point, why is it not all women, but some women make them? It's like everything has got to be an argument. It has to be a point of contention.
Yeah, she's gonna have the last word.
Got to have the last word, and so he's just like, oy vey. Yeah. And then Benny says, by design, the black woman has and still is the negotiation tool used against the black man. Mm-hmm. That is true. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is very true. But then they also say, and I've heard Farrakhan say this. I've heard a lot of people say this, is that because black men, not all, but some, are not providers, what you do is you send your woman out there to work for who? The man, the white man. And so
exactly what Monique was saying.
Yeah, at the end of the day, shoot, who she gonna listen to?
Exactly.
I'm making this money, boo. I got to be out here. I'm gonna listen to him.
And that's why what she said was so prevalent to me, because that's exactly what these younger guys are doing to black women. Yeah, she's gonna have some say so. Of course, she's gonna ally with who's paying her, right, and things like that. And it's sad. As a black man, I'm kind of ashamed that that's going on. But there's only so much I can do.
Right. Just be good to your woman and be a good example so that the men who are watching you, sure, your sons and nephews and stuff, of course, I'm preaching to the choir, will say, that's how you do it. And I will say, and I always say this to Donovan's point, I know for a fact that he is that guy. Like, a lot of people say, oh, Donovan has a lot to say, but one thing Donovan doesn't do, he doesn't just talk. Donovan puts in the work. He sees a young man, a black man or whatever, who's a lot younger than him, and, he's doing something that maybe can be improved on. He don't go and say, oh, you're just such a disgrace.
Right, or I just walk past him.
Or walk past him and then talk about him and say, hey, brother, there's ways you can do that and make this better and this, that, and the other. So he tries to impart wisdom upon them, opposed to just, talking about him, taking a picture and getting on Facebook and then, saying, look at this fool, he's sagging, he's doing this and he's doing that. So, yes, we all have to, try to go to the next level, take some ownership. Mm-hmm. This past week, I had an opportunity to spend time with some younger women who were a little bit younger than me. Not a lot like Donovan, but a little bit. No, they were actually young enough to be, old enough or young enough, rather, to be my daughters. Mm-hmm. They were in their upper 20s. Mm-hmm. But they just have so many questions about life and relationships. And it did make me wonder, like, your mom or no, and just the question that I had, it was like basic stuff, how to just deal with men on basic level, just basic things. But I didn't really know their home situation, but so I took it upon myself to teach them what I knew as best I could, just like I would teach my own daughter, because we have to get away from that point of view that, well, shit, it ain't my child. Right. That ain't my problem. Mm-hmm. That's their problem. We got to get away from that. And so, Alice says, my stepdad's side piece participated in a survey that asked how black women's opinions on condoms. Asked about black women's opinions on condoms. She said, what's in it, quote unquote, for me? So anyway, Donovan, stop laughing at that nonsense. You're encouraging the bull comment. So yeah, I mean, we have to take the time to teach each other, each other's children. I remember my mom, R.I.P., God rest her soul. Yes. I remember she said when she was probably like 12 or 10 or something like that, She said she had got froggy
in Connecticut,
in Connecticut. Yeah, she born in Valdosta, Georgia, and then went to Connecticut, raised on the East Coast. But she said she had got froggy with one of the neighbor ladies around the way and talked to her all sassy. So she said the lady slapped her so hard it slapped the gum out of her mouth. And so she, was going home with her feelings hurt. Her mom was like, yeah, I heard what you said to Miss So-and-so. And so she said she got it again.
Right.
So the neighborhood held you accountable. And then it was like, Miss Austin, I just slapped the shit out your daughter because she got smart. So I think you need to take care of her. All right, girl, I got her.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. Right. Nowadays, that ain't the case. You slap somebody's kids, you're going to be fighting them and their whole village.
Well, it's like me. I have neighbors from hell. You can't tell them nothing.
Right. You try with the ones you can. And so Athena says, that's commendable. We have to go back to the time when it took a village. See, I didn't even read your point, but you're absolutely right. It did. It took a village. And so Benny says, exactly, we have no power to hire or secure her. But again, by design, it was diabolically set up to strip a black man of any power to do so in the past as well as in present day. No, absolutely. It was all by design. And we just keep falling into it.
And I'm not pointing fingers, but I guess I am pointing fingers. The black woman bought into it hook, line, and sinker. Because just because somebody's giving you something for free, my mom used to say, if they're giving it away for free, what's wrong with it?
Well, that's a good point. And then to your point, Benny, it's more or less like we do hear a lot of black women say, shoot, I got all these degrees. I need somebody on my level. He need to get at me. Okay, well, sister, damn, you got 5 masters and a doctorate.
That's very intimidating to him.
Yeah, it's very intimidating, and you probably not gonna find a man with all of that.
Right.
Maybe I'm not saying you should settle for some old. I heard this one chick that I sent you. Some dusty dude. Right. I'm not saying you should settle for nobody who's lackluster, but come on, sister.
Yeah, I mean, your degree, that's good. You have one, but it's nothing. That has nothing to do with human relationships.
But to Benny's point, that's a way of saying you'll never
be on my level.
You'll never be on my level. You'll never have the things that I have. So don't even try, brother.
And the sad thing is what that young lady or in that scenario doesn't realize is she's actually falling in the trap because who's actually free? Right.
No, I agree. And so, Robert, you say that's because we have so many abusing kids in some cases. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole other issue.
That's a whole other show.
When kids, the babies nowadays. I mean, I don't even know if it's getting worse or it's just more, known now, but they don't have a chance in a lot of these cases.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about the story of the young lady? She's a single mother. I think this was in South Carolina or something. She's a single mother. She was walking home. She got her tax refund.
Oh, God.
She was walking home. Yeah. With the money, $3,000 in cash. I don't know why she doesn't have a bank account.
Right.
But her mother brought the money to her. Then she walked home with it, and her coworker and 2 accomplices that she called to him set her up and killed her on her way home.
For the money.
For the money. $3,000. I mean, that is not enough money to kill somebody. I mean.
Well, again, that's a whole other show too. Yeah. But I mean, to murder somebody. Now, originally, I don't think they were trying to murder her, but she was like, shit, I ain't giving up this money.
Well, and one of the boys, I think the average age of the boy was 21 and 19. Like that.
Yeah, they were young.
Yeah.
And so somebody taught them that a life is worth no more than $3,000.
Where's a value system?
Right. Well, there is no value system. I would like to believe I'm worth more than $3,000.
Man.
And then so
this stuff actually goes on in our community.
And Al says we have to support the black woman, but when I go to Winco and there's no black lady behind the chicken counter, I'm not buying that shit.
wait, unless it comes out of the fryer. If you see it come right out of the fryer right there, better jump on that.
Why? Because ain't gonna be no Lowry's on it. And Shawnee says I heard about that. So very sad. Yeah, it's very sad. Story. And then Dominique says she agrees with you, Donovan.
Man.
A lot of people don't agree with
Donovan. Yeah, nobody believes
I'm just kidding. He said, I agree with Donovan, but it makes me question what were black women to do when black men could/didn't step up to the plate and had to maintain their household?
Yeah.
Should she have refused assistance? Well, No, I mean, that's a valid question. I mean, then that's a valid question. But a lot of people will argue, well, the system or the assistance was put in place so that the woman can reject her man. Now, I think for a lot of people that was true. But to your point, hell, honey, if you bring it home to bacon, because we know that assistance, welfare, whatever, that ain't nothing to sneeze at.
Right.
For me, it wouldn't be enough for me not to have no man in the house with me. Mm-hmm. But again, if that man was able to sustain the household and he was there, then she'd be like, man, get out of my face with that. What, you want to give me $2 in food stamps?
Right.
And $5 is, nah, I'm good. Thank you. My man got us.
Right. And that's what I think the problem was. If you have a man that's taking care of all that, that issue would not even come up because you're not in that situation.
Right. So what she, again,
but I mean, was she supposed to? That just said, you know what, I'm going to get my own and do this. And then
that's true. But again, if a man is bringing home the bacon, at least bring it home more than what Uncle Sam's, Uncle Sugar, is trying to give you. Then you're going to be like, man, no, we good. Thank you.
He hates Uncle Sugar.
Uncle Sugar ass. Then, but yeah, so. Yeah. There's a two-way street.
Yeah, but unfortunately, in every society, in every culture, there's always going to be that person that's going to take the money. Regardless.
Yeah, but then she just ain't interested in building no nation or being with no man. So if she's taking, I don't even know what welfare is now, but scraps over her man in the house, but
or bettering herself.
Or to your point too, Donovan always asks the question: how can a woman assert that she's independent, but everybody else is taking care of her? Everybody else being the taxpayers, Uncle Sam, and all these other things. So that, again, we should be taking notes, huh?
That's good.
And so Al Law, have mercy, start off with R. Kelly just filed his taxes 1040, she's 10, and he's 40. You guys haven't noticed Al is the resident joke, not joke, but jokester.
Jokester, yes.
But Donovan encourages him. And so Dominique says she agrees. Not with the R. Kelly thing, by the way. Right. And Benny says she had no other choice. She can't be blamed neither. Can he? We both were placed under a very specific experiment that turned us against each other, and it's still working today. Right. We're still trying to figure out who is most at fault, and we end up blaming both victims instead of the true perpetrators. I love that because we are both victims.
No, and that's true, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. So the solution is start getting our own business and getting back to community group economics.
But how do we do that? Because I agree, if we can't, and to his point, even agree on, well, who's on first? I don't know.
Well, okay.
Who's on second?
I think I've got the solution. We have to establish our roles. We have to get back to understanding our roles in society.
That's a very dangerous word.
It is, but whatever those roles are, if a woman is better in financing than me in my household, have at it.
Right.
If I'm better at gardening, however it works. So we'll get back to defining our roles.
Right. I agree with that, but we have this thing now where, that's, what is it, sexist. I hate when I hear people say that. Oh, that's sexist. Why? Because he wants you to make a steak? That's sexist?
Right.
Because you asked him to take out the trash?
Right.
That's sexist?
Right.
Like the other day, I take care of my baby nieces and nephews. Now, they're babies to me. They're 10 and 8 and 6. Shut up. 10, 8, and 6. And I spend time with them until their parents get off. And so the other day we were walking into the bank, and my nephew, who was 8, sisters are 10 and 6, he walks in and then hold the door open. I said, oh, hold on a second, partner.
That's sexist.
I'm laughing, but I'm being serious. I said, come here. He comes out the door. I say, Isaac, as a man, you hold the door open for women. And he goes, oh, okay. So he held the door open for me, his sisters, and 2 other ladies.
Right.
But, I'm not saying that's not something he wasn't taught, but I just felt like that was my duty to show him that. Sure. Now, some people say that's sexist. Well, my woman can't hold the door.
Well, I remember I was holding the door years ago for a woman, and she was like, I don't need you to hold the door for me.
All right, sister.
I'm
keep it pushing. And then, let's see. Oops. I missed some comments. And Al says, nowadays, men aren't stepping up to the plate and still get a plate of food when he comes home. No, absolutely. See, that's another issue.
Why buy the cow if you're getting the milk free?
Right. Exactly. As a woman, if the man is not doing at least the bare minimum, maybe you should rethink what you're doing for him. He ain't ever gonna act right. Let's say a man who won't work shouldn't eat.
Right. If you're gonna keep giving them babies and stuff, I mean, you letting them, come on in.
Right.
You're gonna continue.
You're gonna continue to do it, and I would argue that that's not a man at all.
And my father-in-law always said, a woman that does not put a man to
a woman who doesn't impose demands upon her man ain't worth her weight as a woman.
There it is.
Now again, that's not I said you need. No, it's baby. I expect you, I expect for you to do these things. And then so. Shauna says, that's crazy. I'd rather do what Donovan just said better myself so I won't have to get assistance.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's like, I'm not going to be laid up in the household with no man who, playing video games and just ain't trying to do nothing.
True story. I had a friend who last year could have got a $19 an hour job, and she refused it because it would mess up her taxes coming up this year because she was going to get a big thing. So she'd rather stay on welfare rather than get off welfare and sustain herself.
Getting that big old tax refund the whole 12 months later, huh? So you're going to suffer for 11 months until you die.
That's how a lot of people think like that. It's sad. because if and that's how the system's set up. It's to keep us at this level. For those that think like that, you want to owe the government money, because if you owe the government money, that means you are doing well.
That means you're making some money.
You're making some money.
Right, exactly. So, but it's mental slavery.
Right.
We have, the shackles on our brain. And then Benny, you say, we just need to get out of our feelings and move forward. No, absolutely. It's, anytime you deal with things out of emotions, it's always going to go bad.
Well, if you guys would go and read the comments on YouTube, you'll see a lot of people in their feelings by what D is saying.
Well, you won't see a lot of them now because I just started deleting and blocking them. I'm just not going to. Okay, I can have a conversation of intelligence, but the ignorant stuff. And so I heard Shahrazad Ali say, your truth and emotions don't have anything to do with anything at all. How you feel does not make it not true. And then Dominica says, I agree. If something ain't broke, don't fix it. Let a woman who wants to be a woman be one. Same for men. Absolutely. But, again, you got society was telling you, oh, that's sexist. The man should be able to stay home and cook and take care of the babies, Mr. Mom. And in your household, if it works, great.
Yeah, great. But then you got these women now that are being, who's that right now that's getting sued and she's got to pay the man $50,000.
Oh, which one? Name one.
Oh, Mary J. Blige. In a situation like that. And now women are complaining because now the roles have been reversed and he wants.
Yeah, but in all fairness, he's doing her duty.
No, we know that. But what we're saying is you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Right. Exactly. And then, so let's see. Al says, those who think they know it all are very annoying to Demetri and Donovan, who actually do. No, we don't know it all. We don't know it all, no. That's why, trust me, we don't know the shit.
We're just starting a conversation to get different ideas and see what people think.
He said, keep providing the knowledge and advice you two. Well, we try. Me and Donovan got a long way to go. Couple of just jacked up individuals.
Yeah, actually, this is D's show. I get crunked on the other show.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, dude, you about to get us both censored, okay?
I'm kind of reserved here.
Yeah. Except for that one time when you went kaboom! And it's been smooth sailing ever since. Sometimes you got to let them.
I had to put the parameters down.
Right. And so Benny says, we are a people of high praise and low productivity. We only speak in the language of the conquered. And Neil Fuller, Neil, I think I'm saying it right, Fuller Jr., yes. Okay. He says that. Him and Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, they were thick as thieves. She actually, he was her mentor. And he says exactly what you said, Benny. We're always celebrating something. We always, I'm this and I'm that. And, black people this and black people that. But to your point, he said, we ain't got nothing to be celebrating.
Right. What is the biggest day? And they say in the black community that they have more barbecues than any time of the year.
4th of July?
Nope. Labor Day.
You stupid.
No, seriously. That's a fact. That's a fact. Now, a lot of us are not employed or whatever. What they say the numbers is black people, they say it's like 5 or 4%, right?
Right.
The real numbers are like 14, 15%.
Yeah.
But we are the first to get the chicken and everything. And on Labor Day, we have the biggest cookouts more than any other people, even though we are the ones that don't have jobs.
Yeah, because we like to, again, to Betty's point, we are high praise and celebrate. It's like, come on, let's make, not saying that we aren't the dopest people on the planet, because we are, but, let's move some more milestones. Like, to Donovan's point, and see, he likes to try to get me in trouble. So I'm going to blame this on him. Went to the NAACP meeting. We're not members. But on their piece of paper on the bottom, it says the biggest accomplishment that the NAACP has made was the Voters' Rights Act in 1967 and then civil rights in 1965. And he says, and they ain't did nothing since. I was like, see, you trying to get us both kicked up out of here.
And I want you guys to know, the vice president that was running the event was waiting for Demetra to get there. They're like, well, when she gets here, make sure she can hit the table.
He's lying.
Because Demetra is always called on to do a lot of events.
I'm a worker.
Yeah,
that's why I'm a worker.
She's in the community. I'm
in the community, but I've had to step back a little bit. Because, sometimes the community want to use you, but they don't want to.
Wait. But it looks good on your resume.
I ain't seen my resume it's been a long time since I've seen my resume.
Like you'd be like, okay, you want me to do this event? NAACP's got some money.
Oh, they balling.
And they will contract with the white guys, make sure those guys are paid, but they want us to work for free. We went out to get registration. They wanted the shirts back.
I still got them in my closet too.
Goodness.
I hope you're not watching.
Yeah.
And so Al says, take note, Sheila Jackson Lee, Demetra's do is what your hair's supposed to look like. Y'all better leave that lady alone, okay? Hey, Andrea, what's happening? And so Robert says, trust and willing to make a sacrifice for a greater cause. Yeah. Well,
that's what we need to start doing.
We do. Me personally, I don't mind making a sacrifice. My dad says this, and he says it so beautifully. People are to be of use, not to be used.
Yes.
There's a difference.
Absolutely.
And so, we just have to understand that there is not going to be a nation if we don't get along. Yeah, we could go be with that person and that person from a different race, but we still ain't going to build a nation. You can say I can do it on my own. I'm independent and, I don't need no woman for whatever the case is. But
no man is an island.
No man is an island. And black people, as we can see, I said shit, I did. As we can see, it hasn't been working out for us too well.
Right.
Our motorcycle is back.
And the funny thing is, we were talking before we came on the air. How many of you guys remember Congressman Charlie Rangel? He took Adam Clayton Powell back in those days. Adam Clayton Powell was a very influential congressman because, number one, he was one of the few black congressmen at the time. And he took his seat. And we were talking about these black politicians that were ask yourself this. How does Maxine Waters, who served in the Congress,
talking about Auntie Maxine.
Auntie Maxine, worth almost $65 million. They say Nancy Pelosi is worth over $100 million. How do you accumulate that kind of wealth, supposedly working for the people?
The people are asleep.
Right. Charlie Rangel, he had a lot of ethics violations. He had property in the Bahamas, all kinds of. How do they accumulate this wealth? They accumulate it because we allow them to do so.
And you know what? To his point, that takes me to next week's show. I'm doing a lot of research because I want to, make it really good. And it's going to be about black politicians and what I've researched, and they've called black misleadership, and what they've actually done or not done. What they've done to black people and what they've not actually done for black people. I'm talking about people, and you guys already know this, your W.E.B. Du Bois, even your Mary Bethune-McLeod, all these, astute people, even to, and this is probably where a lot of people are going to disagree. You have your people like your Maxine Waters and your Angela Rise, these new Negro leaders who keep touting the same old things to black people and what we're supposed to do. So I want to make sure I do a good job with the research so I can just really outline it because as we know, it's getting ready to be in voter election season, I guess you can call it that. And we need to be well informed and stop listening to some of these people, your Auntie Maxine, and a lot of people, I guess we can throw Maxine into, you can't talk about Beyonce, Barack, or Jesus.
Sheila Lee, she's
all of them. But, to his point about Maxine Waters, I mean, she's now this millionaire. She wasn't that when she first started, but if you do your research, you see that Maxine Waters district is one of the worst districts in California and in Congress.
Right.
It's not performing well, but yet, we give her all these accolades, and it's like, well, what for what? Because she has these really cute, snappy sound bites. I'm reclaiming my time, and all this.
And her wig is on straight.
Don't talk about Auntie Maxine wig. Okay, now you out of line.
She looks like
you out of line.
Sorry.
Okay. And Andrew says, I don't know, but sign me up. And Benny says, and he kept getting reelected. Talk about Charlie Rangel. Yeah. But, he resigned because he got caught up in that, into his point, by landslides. People were just, Charlie, good old Charlie, good time, Charlie. But he got caught up in the Me Too thing.
But look at Charlie Rangel's district. Chaka, what's his name?
Golden.
I can't remember his last name, but
I can't think of his
he's
last
in jail
name.
right now.
Yeah.
Another guy that got caught up in wealth, Corrine Brown, another person that got caught, all these things, if you look at where they go, and Corrine Brown did a lot for Jackson, don't get me wrong, but just because you put up a few courthouses and made a few things, look at the district as a whole and the poverty of the people.
Right, what you've done for your people.
Right.
And so, Al said, Al Jack's jokes of the day.
Let's hear it.
Today in Houston, the cops caught a man who robbed Popeyes in his underwear. Don't ask me what color he was. The witness says it was a brief chase. Hard freaking hard.
Yes, you have to be a little intellectual to understand Al's jokes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I ain't really all that intellectual sometimes. It goes short.
Yeah, so.
And then Robbie says, we need to create our own corporation, United States, that is a membership-owned, self-governed, and private cash flow infrastructure. No, absolutely. You think about it, everybody else does.
Sure.
Everybody else has their own corporation, federation, community. As Benny thought that was funny. As Dr. Claude Anderson talks about, he says, well, Black people, we can't even really say we have a community because a community works together. It's conducive. It's doing everything right. He says, live in neighborhoods. We live next to each other. We don't shop with each other. We don't have stores within the community or, none of that stuff that makes it a real community. And so to your point, Robert, yes, we need to start doing all of those things. And then Benny also say all Black district Harlem. That was where Charlie Rangel was. It was Harlem. And now it's gentrified.
Yeah, it's been gentrified.
They said they got Whole Foods and Starbucks and stuff all up in there.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of white folks that go through there now.
Yeah, they're just taking all over. Oh, I wanted to talk about something so bad. I'll mention it. And yes, Benny Al is off his damn rocker. Okay, I'm predicting this right here. Some have called me Nostradamus. That if not next year, but the year after, Al is going to get him an Oscar for something.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Very talented and just but he's a little off.
I want to remind everybody, if you get a chance to see the YouTube video, I'm going to put up Dr. Cooper's spot.
The guy that we saw.
If you're interested.
Yeah, he's going to put that up. Not on this video, but another video. Dr.
No, on this video.
No, put that on the video.
At the end.
Maybe.
Oh, at the end.
Maybe. Oh. It's long, Donovan.
Still, if you're interested,
maybe just make a separate video.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm telling Donovan what to do because I'm the woman and I can do that. Okay, I tell him what to do.
I always defer to my sister-in-law to see what's going on. It's a family business.
I ain't scared of her either.
That's right. It's a family business.
She actually tossed me up when she was here in front of Al. He was like, "Damn, she handled you like a rag doll." Like,
that's a big girl.
That's your girl.
That's it.
So anyway, I was going to talk about this, but I'll just mention it here. We got a couple minutes. If you guys have seen what's going on in South Africa.
Yes.
South Africa Parliament was like, the day of the Geechee is over. We taking all your white people's land and we ain't giving you a dime for it. Hit the road, suckers.
Which is what, what's his name should have done
Mugabe.
No, before that. Mugabe's, he's not in South Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
He just got, I know you.
No, the first black president.
Oh.
He should have done that from the get-go.
Okay, you can't talk about Barack, Beyonce, Jesus, Auntie Maxine, or Madiba. You cannot talk about Mandela.
Mandela,
you can't do that.
Let's say Madiba.
Hey, Jonelle. We missed you last week, but I know where you were. Yeah. You were Happy Savior's Day in it up.
There's been a petition that's been circling around in Congress where they're trying to let the white folks come over here as refugees from South Africa.
Yep. So as I was saying, South African Parliament was like, white folks, y'all got to go. We taking all this land back and we're not paying you for you. Do what you got to do. And so
deuces.
So now about 20,000 white people and maybe 3 black people have signed a petition saying, oh my God, Trump, it's so horrible what they're going through over there. Please let them come over here. And it's like, well, wait a damn minute. Mm-hmm. Wasn't y'all all for building the wall? Wasn't y'all trying to build a wall to keep immigrants up out of here? Now y'all want some immigrants to come in here? Mm-hmm. It's not fair.
They're white, right?
When I was reading it, I said, well, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, huh? It is. I mean, ain't that what y'all did to everybody? Take and pillage?
Right. Well,
you just did the most to everybody?
Did you hear that Melania came over here? They gave her an Einstein visa?
Yeah, I heard it was something. Yeah, because she was intelligent.
No, well, that's for like people that have like, these intelligent, like me, aeronautics. You have a physics degree.
What did she have?
Nothing.
Some double D's?
Yeah, she had some double D's.
Double degrees, double D's.
And then her parents are here on, what do you call that?
A visa, a guest visa.
No, but linkage.
Oh, God.
Linkage.
Yeah, they just full of the mess. I know what? Listen.
Anchor, right there, Anchor.
When I read the article, I was like, I know damn well that petition better not come in my email. I'm going to have a whole lot to say to them. They're going to be like, oh, delete her ass off the list. Because I guess it's on change.org is where it's circulating. Alice, I'm curious, why is the time of day with the slowest California traffic called rush hour? That is an oxymoron like a mother.
Well, not anymore. That's any time in California.
Yeah, anytime. Right now, I can leave here on a Sunday afternoon, and it would take me 5 hours and 25 minutes to get home, and I live a 10-minute drive up the way.
10-minute drive up the way.
And then, so Secret Garden, where have you been? He says Mandela. Yeah, I was giving Donovan a hard time. I was just adding him to the list of people you can't
talk about. Can't talk about it.
And then Jonelle said, South Africa on their gangster. Yes, I was like, man.
Long overdue. 30, 40 years overdue.
There's like colonizers. Get on out of here. And they're like,
and if they would have done that when Mandela came out, became president, some other countries would have followed
suit. I absolutely agree. But hey, you know what? It's never too late. I mean, but I wouldn't doubt if Trump says that's horrible. But no, don't forget, that's a shithole country.
That's right.
There's some shitholers too.
That's where all your diamonds come from. I mean,
I've
been there. It's a beautiful country.
We'll have a whole
except for the Negroes live.
But I wouldn't doubt if they let the white people come over because they, need to help with the population. Let all these white people come over. We'll give them a 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah, they don't even call themselves Africans. If you're white, you're an Afrikaner.
And they call them a boer or something like that.
Boers,
boers. They're gonna give I'm serious now. They're gonna give them our 40 acres and a mule. And Secret Garden says Mandela saved lives.
Yeah.
And Bebe Carter, what's happening? He says, so if Maxine didn't acquire wealth, would she be more viable? Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with her acquiring wealth. It's like, okay, get your money, girl. Listen, I ain't hating no. I'm trying to get my money too. Lord knows I am. Jesus be a bank. I'm just playing. I'm not mad at you for getting your money. But if I had let you to go there to,
better our district, better our lives.
Do that. Get your money and, have results to where we can say, you know what, Maxine getting their money, but damn it, our district, our city, our streets, our neighborhoods, we don't want for nothing.
Because didn't Maxine pay her daughter almost $700,000 to pass out flyers?
She paid her daughter's business over $600,000 to fashion flyers and stationery and just to hang out, just to pass out stuff.
So wealth is going to her own family.
And her son-in-law, just a bunch of, and her husband's
banking.
Construction, banking. He was head of a black bank, and he got a bunch of money during the bill. Just a lot of chicanery went on under Maxine. So I mean,
and it's still going on.
I think she would be more viable if she actually had results. But Just proof is in the pudding, as they say, right? And Athena says, hell no, we got enough issues over here, but just wait, just wait for it. No, he said they stole it. Yeah, they did. That's what Andrea said. They did, and now it's like it's horrible. They're taking our stuff.
Yep.
How did y'all get over there?
Mm-hmm.
How did you get the land? I'm curious.
Right, and you ask them, well, where did you guys originate from? Oh, well, we're from Europe.
Right, so how y'all balling and the native people there are broke and struggling?
Right.
How?
Mm-hmm.
And then Jonelle says that Honorable Elijah Muhammad said they would run the whites out of all foreign countries, and their only safe haven would be America and England.
Mm-hmm.
So, exactly.
And
so
maybe Argentina.
They gonna lower the wall for them. Oh, we ain't talking about them immigrants. We talking about them other immigrants. You know.
Right. And notice they don't talk about building a wall up by Canada.
No, they ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
No, they're not. But I wouldn't doubt it though. I wouldn't doubt if you see the Queen Mary and all them things firing back up to go get them. You know, talking about we being murdered and stuff over here. Listen, I'm not saying anybody should be murdered or any of that kind of stuff, but I mean, there's this thing called karma. You get what you give and all of that. But then,
they have a lot of corporations over there. So what's going to happen is they're going to ask the United States and the NATO or whatever to come over there to protect the corporations.
Right.
And their assets.
Right.
Watch.
Okay. And Al says, my mom saw my finger, asked me what you've been doing. Can't you wait until you see each other? Lord have mercy. He hurt his finger at work. This dude here. And Andrew says, you can't get your money, then turn a blind eye to the problems in the district. Yeah. And that's what she's done. But you know what? It's not Maxine's fault. It's our fault. Yeah. Well, not mine because I can't vote for her, but it's our fault in general because we know she's South Central's
Watts. And
they're congresswoman, so we know predominantly who lives there. Mm-hmm. And she's been there for 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we, as Benny said, we keep reelecting these people and by a landslide. But yet, like, we walk down the street and say, okay, well, they had the LA riots in 91 and that building is still burnt down. But Maxine Waters has been the congressperson. Well, I bet you by golly, wow. I wonder what she's doing in Washington.
Or in her district, you don't see any black businesses, but you see.
Right, but she's balling. So, I mean, I like Maxine. I think she's cute. Donovan doesn't, but I think she's cute with the, I'm reclaiming my time. I think it's, it's cute, but come on now. We got to get past the sound bites,
Yeah.
And then Andrea says, but don't say nothing bad about Beyonce. Oh, my God. this Andrea here. Beyonce is her girl. I made a video about Beyonce going vegan, and I dreaded doing so. I'm like, shit, the Beehive ain't nothing nice. And baby, you say, who is your guest? I like to see him. Okay, I'm going to show you guys Donovan. Y'all ready? You get your chapstick and everything.
Wait, hold on. Okay. I ain't got no hair, so I got to worry about that.
You guys will see him on the finished product, the YouTube video. But that's why y'all see this green screen because there's going to be pictures and stuff back there. But here you go. You ready? Dun, 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 dun. Isn't he handsome? He's single too, ladies.
No, I'm not. I'm dating your sister. On the low.
You're the side dude.
I'm the side. That's right. I'm the side.
He's the side dude. So. And that's Donovan, Mr. Donovan Sadiq. The bells and the whistles and the magic behind everything. All right. And so Al says, much love to Athena Bradshaw and her husband Pete, the only family members who support my jokes and your show. I much love to her as well. I totally
agree. She a family member?
Yes.
Athena? Okay.
Yes. So you absolutely shout out. Big ups. And then Jonelle says, Killmonger vocal, how do you think your ancestors ended up in so-called Africa? They're talking about Killmonger from Black Panther. No, I mean, he asked that question like, y'all ain't native over there. Right. And all of a sudden y'all mad because y'all got the boot.
Right.
I mean, it was like unanimously, the parliament was like,
you got to go.
We ganking everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dare you to say something.
And dare you rise up if you want to, you know. And then so Robert says, I lived in South Central for a while. She has helped a lot of kids from the neighborhood, including me, to her credit. What?
Sure. In the beginning.
He says in the beginning.
In the beginning. I mean, they all go in there with good intentions.
And I would say this too, in all fairness. I mean, I think it's unfair to say that she just went in there and didn't do
No,
nothing.
yeah. In the beginning, she, they're all going with good intentions, but then as the time goes and the money starts flowing, they start saying, "Oh, wait a minute here.
Nobody's holding me accountable."
Yeah, I mean, how do you go to Congress on 100? Okay, when she first got elected, the salary for Congress was like $65,000 a year.
Yeah.
Now it's like $103,000 a year. She's been in there for over 30 years. How do you accumulate off of that salary? Like she got a second job off of that salary. Over $65 million in wealth. How do you do it?
Lobbyists? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, these are questions we got to start asking.
And then, baby, you also say, who is the young man you're speaking to? Okay, so then she says, finally, because she wanted to see who you were. Okay. Yeah, he's not too bad looking. Yeah, you know. We don't hide him because, he's like the elephant man. No.
I usually stay like the Wiz. I'm behind the curtain.
And the only reason why you guys just see me is because right now we only have the phone and
you're live.
And we're live, and so on this little bitty phone, you can see I'm taking up the whole screen like unless he wants to sit on my lap, I don't think Al would have that.
Yeah, I ain't gonna have that.
Y'all just got to see me. I'm sorry. And Jonelle says, how much one expect from politicians? Obama, Maxine, nice symbols to sell the American dream, sure. AKA the nightmare. You know what's funny and not funny? Dr. Claude Anderson said, what are y'all talking about the American dream? You guys are the American, black people are the American dream. Right. You guys built the American dream. You made the American dream possible, obviously via slavery. Then baby, you also say, well, maybe Maxine keeps winning because no one else is running. That could be true too. Maybe they're just like, shit, what I'm gonna waste money for? I ain't gonna win. It'd be a valiant effort, but at the end of the day, it's just that's her seat. And so Al says, Pastor Matthew said, Maxine Waters looks like she has exactly. I ain't read that. Yeah. And he says, shout out to Donovan throwing them rocks with that Beretta cap on.
That's it. Yeah.
Or Coolie High.
That's it, Coolie High.
I think his ass is Cochise.
That's
Coolie High. And then Athena says, oh, thanks, Al. Yes, we will always support you guys. Y'all my power couple. Oh, thank you. Al is a little bit on the cuckoo side, but I love him anyway. And then Bebe says, we should actually be positioning ourselves not to be dependent on politicians. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, I quote Dr. Claude Anderson a lot. He says that if we are, because, voting is powerful and stuff, but collectively, we should say, all right, fellow black people all over, this is who, speaking of a politician, who is going to better serve black people. And so this is who we are collectively going to put our vote behind. All right. Everybody agree? Yep. We agree. And that way, politicians will know, okay, those shooting people got their stuff together. Yeah. Plus they're, practicing group economics, in regards to their money. And so their money is not just circulating every 6 hours. It's doing like the Asians, Jewish people, 20 or 30 days. And so, we need to pay attention to them. But no, you're absolutely right. We do need to stop depending on the politicians, especially the way we do now, because politicians just give us lip service. Yes, I'm going to woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yes, I am. Mm-hmm. And then they get up there and they don't. And then they come right back in 4 years.
4 years, 2 years.
And then we say, you got my vote. So,
or like we have these politicians like Cheryl Brown. If you don't vote for me, that district will go Mexican and we'll never get it back.
Yeah, we had a politician out here. Her and her husband was the owner of the first national black, the oldest black newspaper publication. And she ended up being elected as an assembly member out in San Bernardino County. And her legacy is tarnished because she took a bunch of money and didn't do her job. Right. She sold out, for lack of better words. Mm-hmm. They ended up calling her Cheryl Brown because Chevron paid her $3 million to sell her district out. But she had a legacy of, black-owned newspaper that was doing good in the community. Mm-hmm. That's still around, but not like it was. Actually,
no, she changed the name of it. It's called The Voice.
The Voice. Yeah, it's not even the Black Voice anymore. It's called The Voice. My mother actually used to write for her newspaper in the 90s. And so it was, actually...
She sold out.
Yeah, it was a good publication, but now it's like, The Voice.
Chevron said, I'm out.
Donovan's got a lot of animals here. Sometimes these animals be wilding. Mm-hmm. And Al, you say, I love you too, and may the force be with you. You keep on talking about my doggone hair. And Bebe said, that sounds really great, but we can't even agree with each other enough to decipher what the issues are. Yes, you know, baby, I'd be lying if I told you we didn't have a long way to go. We do, because, you know, when you try to say, you know, again, you'd say something adverse about a politician, and it could, you know, it's facts most of the time. You have a certain sector of us like, you know, you can't say nothing about them. You like even Barack Obama. I'm not saying he was a terrible dude. I don't think, hell, I voted for him twice. I don't think he was a bad dude. But I mean, you know, Barack didn't really do a whole lot for black people. And I'm talking about specifically black people. And some would even tell you it's factual that he actually harmed a lot of black people globally. Not him per se, but his administration did. So, I mean, you're right. We have to agree. And then Jonelle says, white congressmen been in their chairs collecting money, doing nothing 50 years, etc. Trump is president. So if blacks getting loot, that's good for them. We need to separate from the system of, Dr. Claude Anderson, a.k.a. Mav Doctor, has stated that has made us the American dream, the free economics. We, a whole nation of free economics for every Mac. No, absolutely. As you said, Dr. Claude Anderson, he says, most immigrants know, you go to America, go set up in the hood. They ain't gonna stop you. Matter of fact, you ain't even really got to advertise and set up shop. What do they like? Cigarettes, drinks, alcohol, you know, black people stuff. Just set that up, some hair, and, you know, that's a gold mine there. And so there you have it. Everybody has put their claws into the black community. And so Ali says, politicians and Baptist preachers, they are all the same. Holy no damn good Batman. Yeah, they kind of one and the same. A lot of them, they tell you what you want to hear, but really deliver you little of nothing. Hey, Samuel, what's happening? I watched your video of the drill team competition at Savior's Day last week. So thank you for letting me in on that. I shared it. It was... man, y'all should see this. The drill team on the Nation of Islam, the
militant.
MGT. They're not militant, but they're sharp. Sharp. They do. And Bebe said the difference between us and other ethnicities is that we don't know how to get on code. They do. Yeah, you know, we used to, but just being through so much, and we've forgotten to do that. We think we're supposed to disagree with each other and fight and be adversary. We think that's what we're supposed to do. We think that's normal, and it's not. But at the end of the day, we're not going to have a choice, because we are getting smashed closer and closer together. I mean, we just mentioned Harlem not too long ago. That was the black Mecca from, you know, the Harlem Renaissance up until a couple of years ago. And now white people are like, shit, it's ours.
Mm-hmm. Now we're going down to Atlanta. That's going to be our saving.
Oh, we're all going to Atlanta?
Everybody's going to Atlanta.
They're going to gentrify that too. If not, I'm sure they're doing that already.
They're already doing it.
I mean, LA, I drove to LA not too long ago, and I was like, well, hey, wait a damn minute. Mm-hmm. When did these nice, beautiful high rises come up in the hood? Mm-hmm. You know, so we don't have a choice. Yeah. We are going to have to learn the code and get on it eventually. Otherwise, I mean, plantation.
Here we go.
Listen, you going to be in the... I think we'll be in the field together.
No, I won't be in the field. I'll be at the air base. Remember, I'm military, so I'm exempt. I'm exempt.
No.
I was a free man.
You ain't,
I got my papers here. Here's my papers.
Your name is Jethro, damn it. Get your ass on this plantation and pick this tobacco, cotton, weed, whatever.
I'm like Chicken George coming back from England. I'll be a free man.
Yeah, right. Okay, that sounds good. Baby says, I'm from Harlem, Abraham Lincoln Projects.
Right on.
So you tell us, what's it like out there? Because Sydney, I haven't seen him on here in a while. He's from New York, and he says, because I said I want to go back to Harlem, spend a lot of time there, just, you know, researching some of the culture. He says, don't waste your time. He said, it's the culture and what made Harlem is almost all gone. I was like, don't say that.
Wiped it out.
And then Al said, I'm watching the Oscars red carpet, and there is no star in winter like you. Well, look at you. Well, watch the Oscars for the both of us, because I ain't. Yeah. Donovan said he can't wait to watch the Oscars.
I don't watch award shows.
You don't watch award shows.
For pimps and hoes.
Oh, for pimps and hoes. Well, damn. Wow.
I don't watch award shows. Okay. I haven't watched award shows since, 90?
Soul Train?
Yeah. No, I haven't even watched that. I haven't watched award shows since like the 1990.
Okay, Al says y'all can come in the house with me. All right. So anyway, wow, it's 4:40. I've gone over the podcast. I didn't even tell him bye.
That's okay. I'll take care of it.
That's okay. All right. Well, so anyway, I don't see any more comments. Like I said, I got a really good show, I think, next week. We can get a little bit more into the dynamics of politics and our misleadership and
Let's
leadership and all that.
hope that Get Out becomes Best Picture.
Yeah, okay. Get Out. Yeah.
By Jordan Peele.
Yeah, becomes Best Picture. I saw another movie that's an Oscar movie, 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Now, that's a damn good movie.
Is that with Frances McDormand?
Yes. I saw it I was coming back from Jacksonville on the plane, and it was free. So I said, all right, I got a 4.5-hour flight.
Right.
We watched some movies, and that was really good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that wins.
Yeah, and they say that's in the hunt as well.
That movie is damn good. 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Right. And so Baby says, yes, Harlem has been colonized to the 10th power. Laugh out loud. They even go in the corner bodega. But now that Harlem 125th Street has Whole Foods, oh Lord, and Starbucks, they are coming in by the drives. Culture vultures, damn. But yet, they people got the nerve to talk about, so unfair in South Africa, they're taking our land.
You guys want to hear something before we go real
go
quick?
Ahead.
A round trip ticket out of LAX to New York, $737, and that's a good ticket. A round trip ticket to Okinawa, Japan, $437.
Why on earth would I want to spend almost $800 on a round trip ticket to New York?
That's what I'm saying. But do you see the disparity? It's like, what is going on in New York where, that's a 6-hour flight, 4 hours if you're, high enough.
Well, because they figure the people, certain sector of people will be able to afford to do that.
Right. I can go all the way to Japan, China for $400 and something round trip.
Damn. So. And then Jonah says, right, if you're foreign and new to America and know there's going to be a nation blowing money and you can set up shop and get, wouldn't you dream of having a business there? That's better than a casino or getting a portion of taxes, a whole nation economics. Yeah. And that's what a lot of sorry, y'all, my nose is running. I'm actually under the weather, but I'm faking it.
So you make it.
But yeah, that's hell. I mean, they know. Listen, Mexicans and Asians, they know they're not going to Beverly Hills to set up none of that stuff. You go set up a weed shop in Beverly Hills and see what happens.
Right.
That city council gonna be like, denied. But you go to the city hall and they say, we're trying to put it up in, 125th Street in Harlem. Oh yeah, sure. Because, overall, we don't go to city hall meetings and say, wait, what's going on here?
Right.
Listen, we got enough pawn shops over there.
Sure.
We don't need another one, And the baby says, yes, I saw that too. And then Athena says, my first time watching, I'll be back. Yay! Right. And then the baby says, great movie, 3 Billboards. Man, I was shocked. It was really from the beginning to the end, it was an excellent movie. Not that I'm even trying to plug it, but it was a good movie. If you're going to watch TV, watch something good. And Al says, I just want to see 1 billboard in the airport to L.A. Round trip Uber ticket to Wakanda. Yay!
There you go, Wakanda.
The baby says, I'm in Joel now. We know what you meant up above. Great show. My first time watching. Asada Top and tag me to your show. I have a similar show starting at the end of the month.
Oh, right on.
The Baby Carter Show. Please.
Okay, let's check it out.
Tag us in it. I want to watch it. We need to support each other. Plain and simple.
And this is the live, so tell them to come check out the YouTube.
Yes,
channel.
So Donovan is going to be producing this on the Demetra K YouTube channel. You guys will go check that out. You'll see our other show, the little short videos that I make. So yeah, let's support each other. Absolutely. That's how we're going to make it up out of this thing, right? So anyway, I will see you guys next week. I have a pretty good show. If you guys have something you want me to talk about, please let a sister know. I will be more than happy to do that. It's always my pleasure. Thanks for spending time with us. Peace.